Hello there folks, I'm Dan Brown from Sort of Interesting, and today you're joining me for my week 2 update on my 1500 miles in 100 days bike ride challenge. So we're back out on my mum's bike, but unfortunately my original challenge, I was going to try and do all 100 days on that bike. You might have seen in the first video the whole crank arm with the pedal had fallen off. This time just the pedal fell off, and my goodness me, it was far more problematic, so I had to switch back to my old road bike for a couple of days. But I haven't missed me 15 miles a day. We're back on it and we're still going strong. Right, let's have a look at some lovely footage. So my friends, let's start with the absolute pivotal moment of the week. This was my early morning Sunday bike ride before work out to Chirk Aqueduct. Did all me 15 miles and more in this one go, and my goodness me, I was on my bike before 6 AM. I went from being asleep at about 5:59 or 5:49 AM and then being on my bike by 6 AM. And honestly, just leaving town with the sun rising, it was just fantastic. We'll see more of that trip in a second. You can see here my miles since the challenge began. So it's basically 105 miles a week is the overall target for 15 miles a day back in Oswestry here. And I've got to say that I am bitterly disappointed about the idiocy of my mum's bike falling apart beneath me, as it's something I should have tried riding it for a week or so before I said, oh yeah, I'm going to do this challenge riding this bike for all this distance, because it didn't occur to me that the bike itself might not actually be up for the job. And so I've missed, it was basically what happened, it was on Saturday that I discovered, oh hang on, this pedal's gone a bit wobbly, and the crank arm itself was all fine, and I've got the tools to fix that. And the pedal was like, oh yeah, I can't put any weight on this, this is going to drop off. And so it did. And I repeatedly went out and back, and I don't think I got, in 3 trips, I think I travelled less than 4 miles. But then there's the worst part, which is then when I went up to my friend's house and I actually walked my bike up there, I thought, right, I've got a proper tool here, because I thought that I couldn't get the pedal fixed back on because the spanner that I was using was a little bit too wide to fit into the gap where the pedal meets the crank. And so, oh yeah, great, we'll fix this in no time at all. And when I had a proper thin spanner and still couldn't get it to go in, not only not straight, but not in at all far enough to be safe, I was like, oh, I give up. Well, my friends, I think this, on day 7, could be the end of this challenge, at least the part of it that's meant to be going on my mum's old mountain bike, as I'm out for the 3rd time of the day. I've got, so far, less than 4 miles in those 3 trips, because this pedal, if I can get that in shot, just will not thread in a straight manner, so I can't risk putting any weight on it as I'm pedaling, and I can feel that it's totally out of line. It basically had worked itself loose. I don't know exactly at what point. I only noticed it today when I first went out, and I did a good just under 16 miles yesterday, I think it was. Well, over 15 miles every day, obviously. And basically it is looking like I might have to revert to my actual proper road bike again. So it's a shame that I haven't done the 1500 miles on this bike particularly, but the 100 days challenge will continue, and I will be doing at least 1,500 miles one way or another. Right, I'm going to my friend's house now to try and get a proper spanner that will do some serious work, but it's not looking good. But luckily, in the end, I found somebody with the biggest, strongest pair of arms that I know to basically just use brute force to really just get that. I mean, it was a 2-person job to tighten that pedal up. It hasn't so much fixed the problem as it has just made the pedal impossible to ever come back off, unless it's going to come off and stay off forever, which is hopefully not going to happen. It's not quite straight, but it's not far off perfectly lined up now, if I'm totally honest. And moving on from that, I'm thinking, great, the bike's all sorted. Of course, next day I go out, and next thing I know, the pedal on the opposite side is it's not just loose, it's actually broken. It's still attached perfectly to the bike and the crank and that. It's just that the actual canister inside the pedal and the bearings and that is just totally broken. So I don't think the pedal's going to come off, but the actual plastic pedal is very loose, so that needs replacing now. So hopefully that'll get sorted, and then for the remainder of the rest of this, just under 90 days at this point for this challenge, we'll go with some sort of sense and decency. So, thank you very much for tuning in. Check out my other videos for loads more biking and loads more general local scenery and all that sort of stuff from out here in Shropshire and a little bit of Wales too. Until the next time, my friends, keep it bike-worthy. Check the links in the description for my short books about life on a boat and stuff like that. And well, just have an absolutely fantastic day. Keep it interesting. I've already said keep it bike-worthy. I've ruined the exit. Right, have an absolutely wonderful day, folks. I will see you again soon. See ya!